Hey friends, welcome back. Really excited to get back together and talk about your first strum pattern. So let's dive right in, okay? What we're going to be covering today is your first strum pattern, how in the world do we read a strum pattern, and we're going to talk a little bit about how we can effectively count out loud, all right? So this is strum pattern number one, and it's it's pretty simple, but we're going to do it together and we're going to enjoy it. So let's do that. Let's take a look at this together. So the strum pattern is down, 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 down. All right. And it plays just like it sounds. Now, you know, that was a little poetic, I know. So, but the strum pattern is down, 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 down. So let's do it together. And let's feel free to use a guitar pick. I'm going to fret the D major chord. Okay. So we just learned that. You should be solid on it by now. And I'm going to use a guitar pick as well. So not only am I going to use the D major chord, I'm also going to use a guitar pick just because that's my preference. Of course, you don't have to, but that's what I'm going to do. And feel free to. All right, so we're going to remember that we're going to play 4 strings with our D major chord, right? So we've got our D major chord really solid here on the neck. And all we're going to do is we're going to strum down, 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 down. All right, let's do it together. Ready? And stay with me, all right? All right, so that was 4 times. Let's go ahead and do it 8 times. All right. Now, were you strumming 4 strings? I hope you were, all right? If you weren't, go back and just make sure you're getting that really solid in your head and in your hands because it sounds really, really nice with just the 4 strings. The 5th and 6th strings, they don't add anything. They actually kind of muddy up the chord. But we are talking about strum patterns, so let's get back to that. So we're strumming down 4 times. Just those 4 strings, all right? Now, how do I remember this? Well, it's pretty easy actually. What we're going to do is we're going to read a strum pattern. So let's talk about how do we even read strum patterns together. This is what a typical strum pattern will look like. Okay, you see the two vertical lines there at the beginning with the colon. That's the beginning of the measure, or the beginning really of the whole system. Okay, and then the end of the strum pattern, you see the 2 vertical lines in the colon. That's the end of the system. All right. Now you see there's 1 vertical line in between the 1, 2, 3, 4 and the last 1, 2, 3, 4. That's called a measure divider or a measure marker, and that signifies that 1 bar has passed and we're entering into another bar, or that signifies that 1 measure has passed and we're entering into another measure. Okay. So there's 2 bars of music here, or there's 2 measures of music here. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, you see the little square things that are above the 1, 2, and 3, 4? Those signify down, okay? In all guitar, in the guitar world, in guitar language and lingo, you're going to see that symbol, okay? And what that means is just strum down, as many strings as the chord or the individual note require, okay? So that is a down strum. We'll look at another strum pattern later on. But the other sign, basically, that we'll be getting used to is a V. And the V just means up. Okay, the V kind of looks like a U. Maybe you could remember it that way. But this one is a down strum pattern sign. Okay, so a down strum. All right. So let's take a look at how we might read this. So I'm gonna fret a D major chord. All right. And I'm going to read this strum pattern as I'm playing. So here we go. All right, so that was 8 strums. Now, we don't think of it necessarily in terms of that was 8 strums. We think of it in terms of that was 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to start again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Now, let me give us a tool that's going to help us with this. We want to count out loud as we're strumming, at least for now until we're comfortable with it. But also later on too, when we start working with more complicated strum patterns, it'll be really, really helpful to count out loud. All right, so how do we do this? We're counting out loud, not the famous song, but we are counting out loud. If you don't know that song, yeah. Anyways, so we're not counting out loud like the famous song, but we are going to be counting out loud these 4 numbers. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's do it together. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, now with our chord, our D chord, and remembering that strum pattern that we just looked at a second ago, let's go ahead and play the D major chord with the down strum pattern while counting out loud. Okay, so here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Last time. 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that's how you can use the strum pattern and count out loud to actually help you stay on track. All right. Now, one other thing that's helpful for me personally is I like to tap my foot. You probably won't see it here, but I like to tap my foot while I'm counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. That personally helps me to stay and to stay on tempo, to have a really good tempo and a good meter. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Now, might not help you, but I do recommend that you try it. Okay, at least try it and see if that would help you. All right. All right. So that's about it. Let's recap. First, we looked at our strum pattern together. We looked at our first strum pattern. We're putting our D major chord and our strum pattern together. That means we're playing real music, which is so exciting. Okay, so I want you to soak in that. I want you to feel that. Hey, we're playing real music now. So we've got our D major chord. We've got our first strum pattern. Oh, this kind of feels elementary. No, it's not. This is the building block for all other future songs that we're going to play. And you're doing really, really well. Okay, so we've got our first strum pattern. We're going to read strum patterns from here on out, and we're going to remember, okay, this is how I read a strum pattern, and we're going to count out loud. Especially count out loud now while it's simple, because later on, as things get more complicated, you'll really want to have developed that tool and be able to access it. Okay, so count out loud as we're playing through. All right, so what's next? Well, Module 3. So we'll see you there. All right. Action items, go ahead and play through that strum pattern and enjoy it. Jam along with some of your favorite songs, of course. Practice it until you can't get it wrong. All the things that we talked about previously. And then, in other words, practice the strumming pattern so it's similar to me. It's easy for you, and you can teach it to someone else. All right? We'll see you soon.